Hey everyone, it's Raphael. We have an exciting author, attorney, real estate agent. For everybody that knows him, you already know what great person he is. For those that don't know him, this is Randy Hunsicker. And we're excited to have him on.
Thank you.
And
Good to be here.
It's a great day to be alive, as I always say.
Yes, it is.
So Randy, me and you are in a business group together, and we started chatting. And in the middle of the business group, he said, yeah, in my book. And the moment I heard that, in your book, did you just rattle off years of work in a few words? And he did. And I got curious, and I said, Randy, we need to do a video of your journey of your book and everything. So for everyone, this is Randy.
So hi, everybody. Raphael reached out to me. He's like, you did what? You wrote a book? Really? How'd that happen? So he and I spoke for a little bit about what went on. He's like, we should tell people. So here's a little bit of a backdrop. I've been an attorney. I decided to become a real estate agent. During that process, I started taking notes. Just about every day of the stuff that I was doing with a certain type of business. And over time, those notes became a lot of notes. And I realized in those notes, I probably had a story to tell.
Yeah.
And so I decided, because I had notes like everywhere, like a little bit of note here, a little bit, and I decided to put them basically in a Word document so I could understand all my notes. And so I took time to start transcribing, so to speak, all of my notes into a document.
So he wrote a book. And tell us a little about the book that you wrote.
Yeah, so the book is about people who are trying to sell real estate on their own. It's a guide to help people sell homes on their own. And a lot of my business in the beginning, and still is, was about helping people who are trying to sell a home on their own. We call them for sale by owners or FSBOs. And so a lot of these notes focused on the conversations I had, objections that I may have gotten from people, how to really help them. And if they really want to do it on their own, go ahead, do it on your own. So a lot of these notes were about that. And then the idea of the book was, you know what, I'm going to make a formal book where people can read it. It's not like this super long book. It's like 86 pages. It truly is a guide. Some of it reads like a book, but it's really meant to be, hey, how do you do it?
How do you bring a house from that you've owned and you sell it yourself?
Yes. So from the very beginning, you make a decision, I want to sell it. For the most part, people are doing that because they think they're going to save money. And they think, you know what, I've seen on TV, there's programs, oh, what does it take, right? Oh, it can't be that hard. And then you realize there's a lot to it. And so this book was meant to break it down, easy terms, simplify it, and help you get from, I make a decision, I'm going to try to save a little bit of money, if I can, and sell it on my own. How do I go from A to Z? And that's really what this is about.
And if somebody was wondering, why should they listen to what you have written down in this compilation?
That's actually a good question. Why listen to Randy? Well, I've been doing this now for about 5 years. And the for sale by owner portion of that business was a lot of mine. So I have learned a tremendous amount of information from the interaction, my background in law. Putting all those together makes it a good experience for me and one that I can then give to other people. And I hope that the objective of the book is to make it simple.
Yeah.
It's not a hard read. If you think about it, people today can go on the internet every single day, Google whatever they want and get information. The question is, can you tie it all together, make it simple, and help people get from A to B? Well, this book is supposed to be that. Yes, you could Google almost anything today and find it, but does it make sense? Is it easy? Is it simplified? That's what this is about.
So it's a digestible, clear path for someone to sell their home. And the art, as I say, of selling anything, it's the action is easy. Well, not really the action, more like the concept is very easy, but the steps to get there is extremely important from the time that you say, hey, I'm going to sell something, whether it's your home, specifically your home, or and get it to for sale and then execute the contract. That can be, it sounds easy, but a lot of steps.
That's exactly what this type of situation is. People think, well, you just put it on the market and it sells.
Put a stick on the front for
Sure,
sale.
just put a sign in your yard. If that were true, guess what? Every home would sell.
That's right.
And obviously, every home doesn't sell.
So Randy, where is it that law comes in, that experience of law comes into?
Yeah, think about it. Anytime you sell a home, there are a lot of places where legal comes involved.
Yeah.
Not only just from the contract, but certain ways that you're allowed to market a product, your home. There are different statutes, federal statutes, that require certain things. So when it looks like it might be a simple process, there are places where you could get in trouble from a legal standpoint, and then you get to negotiations, the contract, all of that, which my background is being an attorney. I'm also a Supreme Court certified mediator, considered an expert negotiator. All those things play into it, and some of that is in the book.
Wow. So when all that experience of headaches in the last 5 years, that all gets compressed down, digestible, neatly organized for somebody to say, hey, if you want to take it to the market, if you want to execute, here's some things you're going to run into, and here's how you can solve it. Because I've ran into it with the law background, with the real estate certifications and everything.
That's a great way of describing it. It truly is A to Z. The end of the book is about you get paid.
Yeah.
Right? I got all the way down to the end of the process, and I get my money.
You got your money.
Got your money, baby.
Writing the book, what kind of experience did you have writing the book? How was that?
Yeah, so when I first started the thought of writing the book and knowing I had all these notes, I knew at some point in the past it would be cool to write a book. Right? Call yourself an author. That's kind of cool. And I didn't know what it was like. I didn't know. So how do you do that? And through this, a lot of hours, including editing, getting editors in there, looking at all that has been just a phenomenal education. And you realize it's not easy to write a book.
No.
If you thought that you wrote a book by just simply putting some notes down and then hey, here, publish that. No. So there's a lot more to that. I had a wonderful experience learning that. I learned how important your editor is, that they can dictate a lot of stuff at the end of even the publisher. The format in which the book is being published, I didn't have a say in all of it. I had some say in it. So you learn about that whole process, how much time it takes, and at the end when you get that product, it's like, hey, you know what? I put some time and effort into that. I truly believe the book's going to be helpful, and just it's a great feeling to it.
So at the end of it, and you send it off to be published, there's no turning back after publishing, correct?
Correct.
Until your revision, if you do one 2 years later or something like that.
That's another thing you learn is they tell you, now you get to this point, it's it. There's no more changes, and you realize, thank goodness I had a good editor, because there's always going to be mistakes when you first write it. And so that final product, it's definitely, that's it. Okay, go.
Did you sense an accomplishment, that I've heard of people when they build a wall or they build a home or something like that, you're like, man, I can't believe that this happened. Did that actually happen for you when you send that off?
Absolutely. It's going to be interesting to see if what I thought I produced is really what comes out the other side, and is it well received? Do people actually want it, and do they want to read it? That'll be the most telling part of it. But up to this point, fantastic. It feels great. I can't, just to be done. Other authors out there, I get it. And just to be done and be able to say my product is off to be published, that was very exciting.
It reminds me of the admission that Ivy League schools do, because they do a lot of hard work of filtering out people for their programs. And it's almost like a book is a great filter to separate you from the other realtors. Because what that represents is that you're able to take your pain, experience, all the countless hours of problems that you've been solving, and bring it to somebody as a value. Bring it to somebody as like, hey, you can use this. Use my experience, my pain. This is not pie in the sky theory. It's a compilation of your how you got around things. And
It's an interesting way to look at that.
yeah.
So it's almost like, hey, I went to Harvard. It means something. To be able to say that you've published a book usually would indicate you must know what you're talking about if you produce a book. So that's a good way of looking at it. I like that.
At least that you're able to organize that blob of information that's up there that we call experience.
Is that what that was?
Yeah,
blob.
A blob of
so my
information.
experience is a blob.
A blob of information. And at least to put it in a digestible, easy to read, straight to the point, because it's less than 100 pages.
Less than 100 pages. Yep.
Less than 100 pages. That means if you read 10 pages a day in 10 days, you would have 5 years of experience.
This
5
book,
years of experience.
Yeah, but this book is a page turner book. I mean, you'll get it and you'll just want to turn those pages.
That's right. You don't have to stop like that was too hard. But it's so easy. And that's what I truly like about when you bring that value to the marketplace. And it is exciting because the marketplace will tell you if the book was helpful. And I don't know if it's marketing. I don't know. I've never written a book, and I'm curious. That's how we got here, was because I was curious about the process of if you have a profession and you're bringing it to the marketplace and you want to gather up all your thoughts in a digestible manner, organize it, how is that experience? And from what you're telling me, it's worth it, and it sounds like it was a lot of hard work.
Definitely a lot of hard work, and I do think it's definitely worth it. I could see you may not see it yet, but I could see you writing a book. Yeah. Your experience in car sales and everything that goes with that. For me, I wanted to make it simple. My story, it may not be the same as a lot of other people in the real estate industry, but for me, that's the way I've done it, the way I've learned. And I hope in the marketplace, it's a separator, that people understand the fact that I wrote that book. I probably know what I'm talking about. In fact, I do know what I'm talking about. And it can help people.
Yeah, and that's a big value. I think if I'm we have a home and I decided to sell it, I have zero idea besides posting it up on a website and seeing how it goes. Like, we're working a lot of hours, me and Sabrina and my wife, and we have a baby on the way, and I have a business to run.
Too.
Thank you, little Elijah,
Daddy.
And you throw that all in the mist, and we need to move because of a job opportunity or because I have to open up a new dealership somewhere else. I think that I would pick up that book and say, man, let me go through it. 100 pages is nothing versus me spending countless hours on the web trying to, I guess, filter out all these false advertisements, all these false gurus, all these people are like, you can flip your home in 7 days. It's almost a little sense of that. Like that to me, I would like say, hey, let me pick up this book by Randy Hunsaker. I know him. He's a realtor. He has a law background, which would bring, not for me, but more like my wife, because she's more of that safety person. She's like, hey, what legal issues can we run into? And execute it. And I think that's there is a value. And to me, if it's
I appreciate that, yeah.
Whatever it is, the price, how do you put that into a monetary value, the savings and the time and at least the peace that you would have of an actual plan to sell it.
I love the way you said that, because part of the book is about if you have the courage to go through all of those steps to get your home sold, go for it. Because I've helped people sell homes on their own and they never understood why I would do that. It's to help them. But there are going to be people who say, I don't want to do that. But look, I can read this book and understand. It makes good sense. He must know what he's doing. Hey, maybe I want to reach out to Randy.
There is a difference between a realtor who did a course, because the entry to real estate is moderate. It's not like a 4 or 5 year degree. It's a
Absolutely.
licensing And so it's an easy entry to get in for somebody that wants to get in. You get into law degrees and you get into real experience and writing a book. That is something different. I think that does stand up a little bit differently than just how long is the real estate course is what, like 3 months, 4 months, you can knock it out?
Yeah, the real estate process to get your exam is about, you have to take I think it's a 60-hour course.
It's a 60-hour course.
60-hour course, pass that, take the state exam.
Gotcha. 2 weeks, you can do it.
Yep.
And that's an easy, it's a moderately easy entry. That filter, though, is great. And that's what we're excited about. And as we start to wrap things up, what would you say, who is this book for out there? Who would this book be for?
When I originally was writing the book, I thought the book was just going to be for people who are trying to sell a home on their own. It really isn't. It's about that person, but it's for anyone who wants to find out what's the process, how do you sell a home? And it's for any of those people.
That's awesome. And is there a place right now that somebody can pick up the book, or is it we're still trying to line that all up?
We're still trying to line it all up. I'm hoping to get my first delivery of the books next week. I'm going to have a website attached to it, and I'll be putting things out on the web. It'll be on Facebook and things like that, so you'll be able to find it that way.
And for anybody who is interested in selling their home, where is it they can contact you at right now?
Easiest way to find me is an email address and a phone number. My phone number is 407-697-7877. My email address is very easy. It's randyourtown@gmail.com.
Thank you so much. I've learned a lot just from being here,
Well,
the
thank you.
complications
It's been a
of selling a
pleasure.
home, and we're excited to see what happens, your journey, whether it's a kabillion, is that a word?
I think it is. Is it actually
Kabillion.
good? Yeah, kabillion. Huh?
Sales, or one because your mama bought it. Is your mom still around?
She's not, but
Okay.
I have family members
But
who will buy it. Absolutely.
Somebody will buy it.
My brothers.
No matter what, it's going to be an awesome. Thank you so much for having
My
us.
pleasure. Thank you. It was a pleasure being here, buddy.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone.
See